Good morning, everybody. Today is March 23rd, 2021, and we are moving on to the second part of this little Hunger Games workshop. Um, let's see, today, uh, looking at so we're making predictions. Okay, so look at the image on page 160. Why do you predict that Katniss is standing on the stage? Okay, so yesterday we talked about inferences, right? Okay, and we talked about, um, uh, basically, so look at the image on page 160. Why do you predict that Katniss is standing on the stage? So my inference would be, well, it looks like she's speaking. Um, they're all raising their hand. Maybe they're voting. Uh, I think most of you have probably seen the movie. So you probably know why she's standing on the stage. But we need to be able to look at pictures and make an inference based on what we see. Okay, so I won't have you do anything as far as a do now, um, because it's basically just saying, okay, what's your inference? What do you predict? Okay. All right, so now let's take a look at the vocabulary for the day. We've got distressed and we've got allow. Okay. Um, okay, so distressed means very concerned or upset, right? What issue? Excuse me, yawns this morning. What issue are you most distressed about? I am most distressed about blank. Okay, and you guys will fill in your own thoughts right there. Okay, now we've got the word allow. Okay, to allow something means to make it possible for someone to do something. Okay, if you ran your school, what would you allow students to do as a reward for hard work? I would allow students to be teacher for a day, take a day off, get extra credit. Okay, so if you ran our school, what would you allow students to do as a reward for hard work? I would allow students to be teacher for a day. Okay, all right, so allow, the word allow. Okay, now before we get reading, okay, in the text, what major event happens in this part of the story? Okay, so we'll have to fill that in. In paragraph 14, right here, I volunteer, I gasp, I volunteer as tribute. Katniss says, I volunteer as tribute. How does this change the course of events? How does the author use dialogue for dramatic effect? The author uses dialogue. Okay, so dialogue, hopefully you guys know what dialogue is, but if not, let's talk about it for a minute. Dialogue in text that we read, like in a book that we read, is basically like direct quotes, like they're talking back and forth, right? Okay, we can always tell if it's dialogue if it says if it has quotations around the words and then it says says Mr. Calder at the end. Okay, and then we go, it goes back and forth. Like dialogue is speaking within the story. Okay, all right, so why does the author use dialogue for dramatic effect? Okay, all right. Okay, let's cut back here. Okay, it is both a time for repentance and a time for thanks, intones the mayor. Then he reads the list of past District 12 victors. In 74 years, we have had exactly 2. Only one is still alive. Haymitch Abernathy, a paunchy, middle-aged man who at this moment appears hollering something unintelligible, staggers onto the stage and falls into the third chair. The mayor looks distressed. Since all of this is being televised, right now District 12 is the laughing stock of Panem, and he knows it. He quickly tries to pull the attention back to the reaping by introducing Effie Trinket. Bright and bubbly as ever, Effie Trinket trots to the podium and gives her signature. Happy Hunger Games, and may the odds ever be ever in your favor. It's time for the drawing, Effie Trinket. Effie Trinket says, as she always does, ladies first, and crosses to the glass ball with the girls' names. She reaches in, digs her hand deep into the ball, and pulls out a slip of paper. The crowd draws in a collective breath, and then you can hear a pin drop. And I'm feeling nauseous and so desperately hoping that it's not me, that it's not me, that it's not me. Effie Trinket crosses back to the podium, smooths the slip of paper, and reads out the name in a clear voice. And it's not me. It's Primrose Everdeen. Prim! The strangled cry comes out of my throat, and my muscles begin to move again. Prim! I don't need to shove through the crowd. The other kids make way immediately, allowing me a straight path to the stage. I reach her just as she is about to mount the steps. With one sweep of my arm, I push her behind me. I volunteer, I gasp. I volunteer as tribute. Prim is screaming hysterically behind me. She's wrapped her skinny arms around me like a vice. No, Katniss, no, you can't go. Prim, let go, I say harshly, because this is upsetting me and I don't want to cry. Let go. Well, bravo, gushes Effie Trinket. That's the spirit of the games. What's your name? I swallow hard. Katniss Everdeen, I say. Okay, so we know that her sister, her younger sister, who probably wouldn't stand a chance in the Hunger Games, was picked, right? So, Katniss shouts up ahead and says that she volunteers. So here she is thinking, oh, I hope it's not me, I hope it's not me. Then they pick her sister. Okay, and she automatically steps up and volunteers in place of her sister. Okay, go ahead, let's fill out this section, the close reading part, and let's go from there. Okay, please reach out if you guys have any questions, and let's make sure that we're getting good work in. Hey, I just wanted to also share, we will probably take the reading assessment probably around the first week of April. Okay, my goal is for you guys to totally kick butt on that reading assessment. Okay, you guys hopefully have been reading hard, you've been focusing, you've been doing your student zones, and you should be prepared to take that. Okay, so the first week of April, because after that we start to get into our other testing. So first week of April, we need to make sure that we're ready to go. All right, guys, have an amazing Tuesday, and hope you all are well.